Hello, hello. Hope you all are doing well and had a good week. I wanted to check in about a couple of things. I was doing some reflecting and felt like I was kind of remiss in setting a tone last week. So I wanted to check in and see what you guys all thought about this. And then also, one of the things I was reflecting on was my nervousness around this being the first time offering this course, and especially around the fact that there are so many folks in here from different backgrounds, right? Some of you have been community organizers for a long time. Some of you are educators, have been doing this work, and are really steeped in some of the knowledge. And some of you are completely brand new to this work. And so I worry that some of the material or the articles is like too simple for some of you and maybe too deep for others. So I just would like to encourage you to please reach out to me if either of those cases are what's going on, and that way I can kind of differentiate just for you. And then also I would like to really encourage you all to help each other out. I haven't really posted or commented on folks' comments in the Facebook because I kind of wanted to leave that up to you all to do and to engage with each other and to interact and question and build with each other. So I would love to see that happen. And I'm also open and welcome to you guys asking me for feedback as well. So if this is something that you're like, hey, I'd love you to comment on, just let me know and I totally will. So those were just some things I was thinking about. Please feel free. Always ask, share, give opinions, ideas. They are always more than welcome. Okay, now that I got that off my chest, welcome to week 2. This week I really wanted to focus on toxic masculinity and microaggressions. A bunch of you took a survey a couple weeks ago, and honestly, I was kind of surprised at some of the results. On a scale of 0 to 10, there was an average rating of 8 when it came to an understanding of what microaggressions were, which was kind of surprising to me, but cool. I'm really excited that you all feel really comfortable with your understanding, and I'm going to ask you to kind of go a little deeper into that. You may have heard in the past couple of weeks, especially with #MeToo coming out, that in Hollywood there have been quite a few revelations of sexual misconduct, abuse, manipulation, and this isn't just a Hollywood specific thing, right? This is indicative of our culture and the culture of toxic masculinity that we live in. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple things this week. I'm going to ask you to read some of the articles that I have posted. And then some of the other homework is really reflecting on ways that you have engaged in some of this toxic masculinity. Again, we've all done some really not great things in our life, right? We've been socialized in ways that aren't necessarily healthy for ourselves or for the communities around us. So please make sure that you understand that there is no judgment when you share. This is all a process of collective healing that we're trying to do. So share in any ways that you may have engaged in some of these actions of toxic masculinity. Did you realize it at the time? Did you try to make amends at the time? Is it things that you're just realizing now? Kind of go into that a little bit. I remembered. I wanted to share some of my recent examples. And they're so micro. It's like you wouldn't even, but like after years and years, and it gets under your skin. I was at the gym. I'm on this new fitness thing, trying to get healthy. Dealing with years of an abusive relationship led to some pretty unhealthy behaviors that I had. So the past couple of years I've been really trying to focus on my health, and it's been exciting. I just got a new gym membership, so I made an appointment with a fitness one of those people, right? And they were showing me how to use the weights, and we were in the weight room, and it was all men in the weight room. So kind of I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna learn how to do this. It's intimidating, I'm gonna learn. And so they were teaching me how to do some of the weights, and one of the men came up and asked the trainer, he was like, hey, this is the lightweight bar, right? I know that sounds hella minimal, but two things. Why are you assuming it's the lightweight bar? Because it wasn't. And why didn't you ask me and instead defer to the male trainer, right? And there could be so many things in there. And I was kind of like just low-key annoyed. It was just another example of like, hello, I'm here, people can talk to me. But as a woman, a lot of times we just get ignored. And adding on to that, another really interesting conversation I had the other day. People have been kind of coming out of the woodworks and reaching out to me, which has been really cool. I was put in contact with a gentleman out of New York who's starting a men's group for black men, specifically towards how to uplift and protect black women in their community, which is really great work. They had their first meeting, in-person meeting last week, and he was kind of talking to me about some of the things they were talking about. And one of the things was that a woman in their community was sharing with them about some sexual harassment that was going on in the community, especially in regards to another gentleman that they knew. So they were trying to grapple with how do they work through this. They don't want to call the police brutality. They want to be able to hold each other accountable, but things can get violent. The woman actually had asked them not to share, and where this microaggression came in was the fact that they were still going to approach the man. And noble and generous and well-intentioned as it may be, the fact that they ignored her request to not share is in itself a devaluing of her being, right? Because she specifically said, don't share, and they're like, well, we're gonna do what we're gonna do anyways. So I was talking to him about that, and he was just like, oh, that's an interesting way to look at it. Totally didn't even mean anything in any malintent, but just looked at it in a different way. So that being said, one of the other asks I'm gonna do for this week is, with this understanding of the personal is political, and the more personal you can get, the more knowledge you get, is I'm going to ask you to humbly ask folks in your community, whether it be just one or two women that you're really close to, about microaggressions they may have dealt with, or if it's something you want to post on social media, with the understanding that, again, this work is work that I take on because I choose to, but it's not the responsibility of any woman to take on unless she chooses to, right? So again, humbly asking the people in your community about microaggressions that they may have been experienced in and how that's affected them. So let me know if you have any questions about any of those tasks. This week's words for the week are microaggression and toxic masculinity. They are defined below in the blog. As always, please ask if you have any questions. I would love feedback. If you have any ideas, things that you want to go deeper into, let me know and I'll get you some articles. And I wanted to leave you with a quote, something I've been thinking about, and it's a quote by James Baldwin. I'm gonna grab my computer and read it because I can't remember it off the top of my head. But here it is. Love takes off masks that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within. So just reminding self and others to go with love and have a beautiful week. All right, bye.